Welcome to my YouTube channel. Reaction video. Maybe some individuals do it, but I have never seen that. I have to switch off the machines. Okay, so we had a listeriosis outbreak. So it's not all doom and gloom. Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Good afternoon, good day, good evening, good morning, depending on location. I'm gonna say good morning based on Central African time. So I'm gonna do, yes, you guessed it, a reaction video. What's our favorite thing? No DNA, just RSA. So I'm gonna do a doctor react video to medical scenes, hospital scenes, doctor scenes based on South African series. Just as a, should I say, warning, but we are not really established in terms of medicine hospital series as other international countries. Grey's Anatomy, I admit, heard a lot about it. I've actually never watched it. House, loved it. Oh my word, The Resident, fire. Even continents, if I may say so. So our first like proper hospital series is Durban something over by that. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a reaction video to some of the scenes. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you want to add, subtract, minus, multiply, you're welcome to comment and I will interact. Yeah, this series is called Durban Jan and it aired from 2020 until 2023. Okay, so here's our first video.
Off the machines.
Okay.
Her heart is too damaged at this point. I'm so sorry, Linda.
Okay, so in this video, first of all, I'm gonna appreciate we go through the courses of breaking bad news, how to approach it, and part of the things you need to be sympathetic to the patient. You need to give the patients the opportunity to react and feel whatever emotions they need to feel. For example, me breaking bad news, I can't break the bad news and start crying while you're crying, because one of us has to be the stronger person. One of us has to be the more supportive person. So I think, yeah, she tried it. Obviously, it's a shortcut series, so there's no way you can go through the whole process of going open-ended versus closed-ended question versus like the whole process of breaking bad news. But I think the most important one, she did appear to try and be sympathetic. Another one, side note, even though I don't know, the only people I have seen practically in the hospitals that I've worked with actually using that, is it called a board? The one she's holding, the brown one.
These are the cardiac tables that we usually use in public hospitals. So yeah, if it's not plain white mobile, it's probably like a brown top. So
it's only in anesthesia, because I mean, they need to be charting the whole day. So as for the rest of us, you're not walking around with this because every patient has a file. Where's the board going? But yeah, I'm sure maybe some individuals do it, but I have never seen that in real life. But I understand the picture and why it has to be like that. I've also seen this on international series. So yeah, okay, so let's get to the medical part. Okay, so the doctor explains your relative has a heart condition and it's dire. Long story short, they have to switch off the machines. Okay, so I mean, I understand there's probably issues of maybe it was a budget situation to get the necessary props might have been an issue or lack of accessibility, but I really feel like they are consulting team, because I would like to assume that with this series there's a medical consultant advising them and all the stuff on how to do this, how to basically display certain things. So in this particular scene, the SATS monitor, the machine that she turned off, usually what you...
I'm just hopping in here. So this is the monitor we generally find in public, especially clinic, the blue one. And then in ICU, intensive care, it's usually this one, which will be mounted along the machine. Enjoy.
Are you getting enough oxygen, basically? Then we can also attach the BP cuff to check your blood pressures. We can also check your pulse on that machine, and then with some you can also check temperature, so there'll be a temperature probe attached to that machine. So those are monitors just monitoring what's happening in your system, okay? Just assessing what is going on. It's not providing any oxygen, it's not providing any blood, it's not providing any life support at all. It's just there to monitor how your body is doing. So switching that off just means we are switching off watching what's going on in your body. So okay, then number 2, okay, they took out the drip. I mean, I guess I can't say much about the drip. So there's I guess with this scene, maybe it would be worthwhile at some point to deal with the death and dying, in which case you also have to go through when does one decide to turn off the machine, the difference between withholding and withdrawing treatment. But in this case, it sounds like what they wanted to do was withdraw treatment, which means basically the machines are doing nothing, but those machines, even when they were on, they were doing nothing. I don't know if you feel what I'm saying. It's like saying, okay, so I am going to, let's see. I'm going to turn off the hazards of your car so that the engine can stop. I don't know if you get the hazards are just like a superficial visual for the rest of us to see, but the engine is unaffected by the hazards. I don't know. That's the first thing I thought of when I checked. But yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next clip.
Doc, simple, please. Spinal cord sa gagwe. Hey, worst case scenario, e ka ba lehu. Best case. What? Paralysis.
Okay, next scene. Okay. This one, I'm gonna start.
Hello, Matazi from the future here. So
diagnosis.
I just wanted to show you guys
so first of all, I'm gonna
what
appreciate that
vertebra
the
look like.
doctor here tried to
And here I just wanted to show you guys the scar,
for the patient and the family.
generally how it looks. I'm
Instead
not
of
gonna make this
bombarding
an
them with
anatomy
excessively
lesson.
big words.
And here I just
However,
wanted to show
I do
the
have a
layer
bit
where
of
it's
a-
the brain and the layers
for example,
between the brain
okay,
and the
vertebral
scar.
fractures, you know, like the bones at the back thing. However, the cerebral fractures part, let's insert a picture of the brain. Let's insert a picture of the skull, maybe. So the cerebral cannot fracture because it's like soft tissue. At most it can swell, it can bleed, it can atrophy, but it cannot fracture. But the skull, however, and the bones overlying it, obviously different parts have different names. You know what, I tried to look it up, like maybe it's like other places use that, but maybe it's a misnomer. Okay. And then the other thing that I wanted to comment on, probably a bias of having spent 12 months in ICU, but okay. This person has a head injury, severe head injury from what I'm hearing, because she says the patient might die.
So this
or
is
be
what
paralyzed.
I expect to see in terms of the tube.
This patient
I'm not
needs
saying
to
the
be in
pipe must be
ICU,
inside,
which
but at least the
I think the
connections
beeping
must look
sounds,
something
that's
like
what they're
this.
trying to simulate.
Also, the nebulizer, can I get a
person
wheeze
is in
wheeze from the
ICU.
asthmatics? So this is what a nebulizer mask looks
On
like.
a face mask.
We use them for wheezing,
And
asthma.
I'll just check the video again, but it looks like they have a nebulizer attached. The patient should be intubated. Once again, I'm not sure if it's a budget situation, but situation, but this is from a very popular vendor series called Movango, I believe. Jokes. Yeah. So yeah, but at least I got the beeping sounds. Those would drive you crazy. In the following clip, we're basically going to have demonstrated how sometimes, especially patients in like ICU, that were like, and let me say, out of it for a while, or in like medically induced comas, or in actual comas, when they wake up, obviously the shock will be there, the panic will be there, or if they become conscious while they're still intubated and everything, it's possible for them to be reckless, try to pull out the tube because they don't really understand what's going on. That's why it's very important to, like, on the daily, like when you're seeing the patient, you try to communicate with the patient, you try to orientate them. Like, for example, if they're awake, you let them know, today is Monday, the 1st of September, it is 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you are at this hospital, you are in ICU. Just, give them some level of orientation to try and prevent ICU delirium. Basically, because they don't know night from day, months to weeks, days, like everything is just jumbled up. Cool. So it's also a thing of, an unfortunate sad part is sometimes, as a doctor, you'll do your best, try and save the patient, and the priority is always the life of the patient. So I'm not sure of the context of the whole episode in this case, but sometimes you are faced with a situation where you need to make a decision. To make a decision, okay, it's either I save the patient's life or I save this organ, but it all comes down to life over limb every single time. So, or sometimes it's not even a situation where you have to make that decision. Sometimes it's a situation where you are able to save these parts, but those parts were already too damaged, so the organs or the limbs were already too damaged beyond salvaging. But now when the patient comes to, because of the shock and the anger and the aggression, you become the target of the anger simply because of what they get to see as what is lacking, as opposed to what you did to save them. I'm not sure if I'm articulating that properly. So it's a normal response, normal reaction. It is hard to take sometimes, but all doctors just need psychologists to cope through these things.
Evacuate the building. What building? All buildings, Ibenko Towers.
Attention all members. Please collect your belongings and leave the building.
But this is surely a hell of a lot more than just another listeria outbreak.
I can't say it.
Can't say
Okay,
a
so
word.
from the future,
I'm sure you guys have
and I
heard
isolated
obscene.
the
I
Viennas,
think
even the
this scene
Balloonies were
was
there,
really
the
carried out
Russians were
well.
there. Listen,
Obviously,
processed
much
meat,
more
everything was
dramatic for the
involved.
sake of the
It
series
was
and
hectic, a
entertainment.
scary time.
But there was a point where we had basically the thing that caused the outbreak was reportedly Vienna's. I'm sure you guys got to see it. And And yeah, I'm sure we are still healing from that. I'm not gonna lie, when I do check the brands, I'm just not gonna mention the brands. When I see that particular brand, I do kind of go, you know what, maybe let me just take a different brand. It's not worth it, unless if it's like a different thing as opposed to the Viennas, for example. So I think with this scene, they did try to demonstrate it a bit more efficiently, although arguably this is more of a management scene more than a medical scene. For example, if there's a crisis at work, management has protocols in place and so forth, as opposed to doctor to patient interaction. But yeah, I just had to slide in a positive one in there, so it's not all doom and gloom. But of course, we have to save the best for last.
Back from the
Okay.
future, this is what an
So-
intubated patient looks like. The nose is bypassed
This,
to oxygenate through the mouth.
individual,
Long
is
story
attempting
short,
to-
patients that are extubated use Venturi
let me
mask,
say,
not
get
on the
rid
machine.
of this patient by using a pillar to, I guess, get rid of them. So let me just insert a picture of what an intubated patient, where the tube goes. So even if he covers that patient's nose, that patient is still going to breathe, because it's the machine that is supporting that patient's breathing. That pillar is going to do nothing for the guy. Okay, then another thing, the tube that this patient has on, it looks like it's connected to a Venturi, but I'm hearing the beeps in the background. Interesting combination, if I do say so myself. But yes, otherwise, thank you for taking the time to react with me. We do have a long way to go as a country, most probably, when it comes to medical series, but I do think over time